call this meeting to order. At this time, we'll do the roll call.
Randy,
Present.
Gabby,
Present.
Darren,
Present.
Bobby's absent. Do I call your name? Mr. Mayor,
Present. All right. First item on the agenda, August financial report.
I just had a couple of questions. On the profit and loss, I noticed we paid $1,200 legal fees. I guess that was a retainer or maybe what our attorney had charged for August. Is that what that was?
I think that was July and August combined.
In August.
She was, well, I think she hadn't been paid what?
Well, she hadn't been paid since April,
Okay, so that's 3 months maybe?
Yes.
and she sent the invoice.
Okay. And I noticed a refund of $34,1029. Was that our Midwest meter issue that we overpaid or something before?
Yeah, there was a $2,700 overpayment, and then I believe the rest of it may have been on the, when they come and pick up the chlorine barrels,
Yeah.
that was paid, and they refunded those funds.
What is the repairs and maintenance credit for $39,1965? It says vehicle, repairs and maintenance vehicle. Do you know what that is?
Are you saying that's a credit?
Yeah, it's credit. Under general fund, repairs and maintenance vehicle,
On page 2,
yeah. I was just curious to know why we had a credit for repairs and maintenance vehicle for that amount.
can you make note of that? We'll find out.
That's all I.
Only thing I can think of is either I put it in wrong or it was a duplicate payment.
I noticed we got our American Rescue Plan money.
We got the first tranche of it.
$87,272.26.
That is correct. And we will be going later on tonight to open a bank account where those funds will be transferred into, and they'll be paid strictly out of that account. I don't like those funds being mixed in with other funds. It needs a dedicated account. Any other questions on financials? Ms. Gabby?
No.
Mr. Darren? Okay, no other questions. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion we pass the August financial report.
Have a motion on the floor?
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is the collector's report for the month of August. Anybody have any questions, concerns? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we accept the collector's report for the month of August.
Have a motion on the floor.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is the regular meeting minutes dated August 9th, 2021. Everybody had a chance to read over those? If there's no questions or comments or concerns, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion we accept the regular board meeting minutes for August 9th, 2021.
I second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is the personnel meeting minutes dated August 9th, 2021. Any questions, comments, concerns? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we approve the personnel meeting minutes for August 9th, 2021.
Have a motion on the floor.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is the special session minutes dated August 19th, 2021. Any questions, comments, concerns? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we accept the special session meeting minutes, August 19th, 2021.
Have a motion on the floor.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is the special session meeting minutes for August 30th, 2021. Any questions or concerns? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes, special session minutes dated August 30th, 2021.
Have a motion on the floor.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next thing you'll have in your packet, this email is, and I will read it. This is for the board to read over. It's this one right here. It's called SAFHR, and that stands for Missouri State Assistance for Housing Relief. SAFHR program. And the email reads as follows. Good afternoon. We're currently reviewing applications for utility assistance through the new Missouri State Assistance for Housing Relief program, funded by the federal stimulus and administered by the Missouri Housing Development Commission. The SAFHR program provides up to 12 months of utility assistance to eligible tenants. We are reaching out to confirm account information and to pledge a payment for one of your customers who has applied for and been approved for assistance with their bill. We hope we can work with you to participate in the program so that we may make payment on behalf of the customer directly to you. Full program details can be located on our website as follows. Web address as follows. It just says, please, if you could, please complete the form below. We can begin the process of setting up payment information for your company. And I contacted Missouri Municipal League regarding this, just to make sure it wasn't a phishing scam, because they're asking for a bank account information that funds would be deposited into. And let's be honest, these scammers are pretty slick sometimes. So MML stated that no, this was a legitimate program. What threw me was it was a .com instead of a .mo, .gov, or something of that nature.
Yeah.
And I would like for y'all to read over this, see what you think. If you have any questions, if you would like to reach out to this company, or if you have any questions that you would like MML to answer before we commit to moving forward on it. It goes in, there's a lot of information provided herein. I don't know what the criteria is for people in the community, to what their qualifications are, what income threshold, things of that nature. So if it's something y'all want to look over some more, or if it's something you just want to vote on, we can vote on it. I'd just like to give y'all the opportunity to have time, go over it, call, contact whoever you'd like, if you have any questions, to get all the questions answered. So
Did it state a deadline or anything?
I did not read a deadline.
Because I didn't see anything.
This is actually the second email. They had sent one prior to this one, and then they sent this one. This was dated Tuesday, September the 7th.
Don't we have one person already signed up?
Yes, ma'am. It states here in this that one of your customers who has applied for and been approved for assistance with their bill.
So when you spoke to them?
I did not speak to them.
Oh, I thought you said.
I only spoke to MML.
Oh, okay.
I spoke to Ms. Ramona at Missouri Municipal League,
So
just to find out, hey, is this
legitimate, yeah.
Yes.
Because on our end, I mean, I would want to know what's required of us as a vendor, if there's any fees that are associated with it on our
Yeah,
part,
I
it's
mean,
automatically just.
you are more than free,
Yeah.
anybody free to reach out to
I
them
mean,
directly.
it sounds great. I mean,
Yeah, it
and,
sounds-
and
definitely
there's all
sounds great.
kinds of heating and utility assistance available, but for us, is there anything that we have to do to be the approved vendor?
So can we want to table this?
I think we
Yeah.
ought to table it
Table
until
it.
we can get some more information. on it.
Sounds good to me.
Is there any, am I overlooking, you guys see, is there, I see email obviously, but, oh, here's.
There's
no.
direct
Okay,
phone
that's what I was
numbers,
gonna say.
and there's, I thought on one of these, there was a actual contact name. So I'll entertain a motion to table.
I'll make a motion to table the SAFHR Utility Assistance Program.
Got a motion on the floor?
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is a letter dated September 3rd, 2021, and it's a revised primacy fee structure for systems on an annual schedule. And this is from Missouri Department of Natural Resources. DNR levies what's called a primacy fee. We pay it once a year based on the number of connections we have and the size of the service connection. So if you've got businesses with 2-inch and larger service connections, the primacy fee is increased. It's a one-time fee that shows up on the customer's water bill each year, and then the city has to charge that fee based off of DNR rate schedule. And on page 3, you'll see the current fee amount, the revised fee amount, and then there's a prorated fee amount. So,
What are we paying now, Mayor?
well, it says on the page 3, it says the current fee amount,
$324?
$3.24, and then if it's larger meter sizes, they go up from there also. That's in the second column.
But what I'm asking, though, what is our check that we write every year? Do you know
I
that?
can't tell you off the top of my head. I can look it up. Let's go, you wait, no, look that up. That was just sent in here,
Last week.
no, it was a little while back, and yeah, it's been a couple months back it was sent. But it was done this year already. So, but we do have to adopt this revised primacy fee structure.
It's a pretty big increase.
Yeah. And it's a one-time fee per customer that we would pass off to them.
Yeah, it would go up from $3, the current fee is $3.24. The revised amount effective January 1st, 2022 is $5.28, and then the prorated amount, I guess this coming year will be $4.60, and then following that, it'll be $5.28 instead of the $3.24.
But I'm understanding you correctly, it's a one-time.
It's a one time, once a year.
When do we charge it? Currently? When are we-
Effective January 1st.
No, when or now, in this fiscal year, do we charge it at the beginning of the year, the middle
No,
of the year?
it was sometime in May, June is when that was done. She's made note, she's gonna look it up. So you
So we
have a
charged it
total dollar amount.
To
and
them
when
in
it
May,
was.
to the,
Yeah, it was on
to
everybody's
May or
water bill.
June.
Yeah.
And then, so then we would raise it, or we would have to charge it again in January, so then it would just move to maybe once a year? Is that the way I'm understanding? I mean, it is once a year, sorry, moving the date from June to January then?
No, it takes effect. It's stated here in the first sentence of
Yeah.
this
Oh, so
letter.
we could still,
Yeah, it takes.
Stay in
effect.
May.
Yeah.
So,
But it
okay.
takes effect
Yeah.
in January 1st.
Yeah. And then it's saying that the final language of the rule will be published in the November 30th, 2021 publication of the Code of State Regulations. You may find additional information on this process on the department's
Right.
fee stakeholder webpage at the link below.
Okay. I was just making sure we just charged them and then we, charge ourselves again at the first of the year when the rate increase goes up, and then somebody would say, oh, I feel like I just got charged that. So the date would stay the same, that we would just raise the rate. Okay.
Just so the public knows, this is not something we're doing, we're required to do. so
Right.
It's not us doing it.
So what do we need to do to adopt this then?
We just need a motion that we're gonna adopt the revised primacy fee structure for systems on an annual schedule.
I make a motion that we adopt how would we?
I would, based off the letter, the date of the letter, and then regarding,
Adopt a revised primacy fee structure for the systems on an annual schedule.
have a motion on the floor.
Would you say with the rate increase going to, does that need to be in there or no?
Add that in there.
Well, it's going to be prorated the first time. Because of,
Right.
it doesn't take effect until a certain date. So they're prorating it for 2022. And then after 2022, it's going to
It'll
go
be
528.
So
So
we don't want to say an amount then?
I would, you can if you like. It's,
We're just basically setting up the fact that we are gonna run off this revised structure.
motion on the floor. Any other questions on that? Have a motion on the floor?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor? Next item on the agenda is, we just discussed it a while ago. We need to open, just so the public knows, the city received its first half of the American American Recovery Plan Act funds, ARPA funds. And that is related to the coronavirus. Currently, the city of Morehouse, the funds can be spent on improved waterworks for water or water distribution, improved sewer and sewer distribution, and broadband infrastructure. So the city did receive its first half of that money. It's been deposited into our general fund account, and I'd like to open up a bank account solely dedicated to the ARPA funds. That way those funds are in their own account. They're not getting mixed around, because we was given a number that we have to associate with any purchases, anything that we do with these monies. Because if they come back and audit it, we have to show that we used it for approved expenditures. And if the money was spent for something that wasn't approved, then the city's going to pay it back. So we have to do due diligence to make sure that these funds are only being spent for approved things. So if y'all have any questions about opening that bank account, Alderman Deal?
Would you, maybe say how much money was initially deposited?
Well, the city is set to get just a bit shy of, I believe it was $160,000. And we got, what did you read? 87,000 and some change.
272.26.
87,272.26 was the first half, or the first tranche of that money. The city received that. So,
And is there a time frame in which we have to spend it?
yes, I believe it's sometime 2024,
I
2025.
think it's 3 years, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I've read.
And with that said, the money goes toward the water works, sewer works, and broadband.
Broadband.
Included in that stuff, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, we can use the money in order to purchase, equipment to
Yes.
work on these things.
I phoned Missouri Municipal League and asked them, because Brad Graver come by about 2 weeks ago now to take a look-see at our locator that Ben uses to do locates before we dig. When somebody goes in to dig right, the city has to go out and do locates on the city's utilities, so the water lines and sewer lines. And we was having some issues with the locator. I'm sure y'all recall we approved buying new leads for the locator. So Mr. Raver come by, he's, like I said, he's with Missouri Rural Water, and he was working on the locator, getting it calibrated, doing some things. Him and Ben and Bobby went around, made sure that it was working correctly. And I asked him about equipment. And he said that he had heard that it was, but might want to check with the municipal league. So I phoned Missouri Municipal League, and it has been that equipment, if it's equipment for working on sewer or water or broadband, these funds can be used to purchase equipment for those items.
Okay, so we need to make a motion that
Yes,
we
ma'am.
open a checking account. I make a motion that we open a separate checking account for our ARPA funds.
Understood. Have a motion on the floor?
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is we need to put out a advertisement for bids for residential trash hauling services. And that will be run in the Sykeston and Standard Democrat. And you have an example, or what the notice to bidders, what will be published in the paper.
Make a motion that we put an advertisement in the newspaper for bids for trash service.
Have a motion on the floor.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is, we discussed earlier about insurance. The city's insurance policy, I think it expires end of the year,
January 1.
January 1st. So we need to go ahead and get a bid, or advertisement to accept bids in the paper. There's a lot that goes into working up these quotes for insurance. So the more lead time we can give these insurance agents and companies, the better off we'll all be in the long run.
Can we, I requested a copy of our assets so that I could maybe submit it to a couple other, once we approve for the bids. Provide it to them. I know not everybody necessarily would read the paper, but maybe, a couple other small communities who their insurance agents are and who they are. To their agents, and see if they could give us bids also. I know you've already requested a bid from, or gotten a bid from Grant Ashley.
No, hang on. Grant actually came by. He's not given anything. I told him that we have to put out for bid. We
Sure.
can't go just talking to other individuals trying to get bids without it getting approved by the board first and then going and burning the paper.
Sure, give a list of those, if we approve it, a list of the assets that, or what our needs are to be, our liabilities, those kind of things that we need to be insured.
Yeah.
Okay.
Normally the process is the insurance agent will ask for a current copy of your policy, and they'll come in and speak to the mayor or the clerk or both and say, hey, has there been anything added this past year that maybe needs to be added to this policy? Just a brief meeting with the mayor and the clerk.
Sure.
All right, any other questions about this? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we advertise for bids for insurance coverage.
Have a motion on the floor.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next item on the agenda is park board appointments. So I'll make these appointments individually, and then I'll just make them and the board can vote them up or down. Miss Diane Cook, I'd like to appoint Miss Diane Cook to serve on the park board.
I think I should abstain as a volunteer, because my name's on here, so I'll abstain.
Understood?
So you're asking for a yay or nay?
Yes, sir.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm asking for a motion.
Oh.
Yeah,
Motion to appoint Diane Cook as vice chair.
yes, sir.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Diane Cook as vice chair of the park board.
Have a motion on the floor.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
I'm abstaining. Hey, do we have minutes? We have their park board minutes. We need a copy of those, don't we?
I give them to Miss Gale. Their agenda is what I gave to you. Yeah.
There are park board minutes that reflect this, that these, their nominations, who they've appointed and those kind of things.
It was just an agenda. I don't have a set of minutes.
So can you make appointments without that?
Yes, the mayor makes the appointment for the park board. This board approves them, and then they do what, however they want to set up who's who.
Okay.
Next member is, I'd like to entertain a motion to appoint is Leanne Johnson for the park board.
Make a motion that we appoint Leanna Johnson so do I have to say treasurer or just
No.
part of the park board?
For the park board.
For the park board.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ms. Gabby?
Abstain?
Entertain a motion to appoint Ms. Wilma Halford for the park board.
Make a motion, we appoint Miss Wilma Hafford for the park board.
Have a motion?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
I'll entertain a motion for Ms. Kim Wilson for the park board.
Make a motion that we appoint Miss Kim Wilson to the park board.
A motion on the floor?
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Next member I'll entertain a motion for is Mackenzie Draper.
Make a motion that we appoint Mackenzie Draper to the park board.
Have a motion on the floor?
I'll second it.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is gym rental for Sykeston Volleyball Club. And I don't see any, are you here for the Sykeston? Okay, we have, and what is your name, ma'am?
Laura Blissett, I'm the director of the club.
Laura Blissett. Okay, we have Miss Laura Blissett here, and we have the contract for the gym rental. Has everybody had a chance to go over this contract?
Thank you for coming tonight.
You're welcome.
Hey, before we get to you, did anybody get Mr. Martinez when he was here for the special session? I believe that was the August 30th special session.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was the August 19th special session. Mr. Martinez was here. He was supposed to have emailed a amended contract. Remember, there were some things we discussed. I never received
So I
an
followed
amended
up,
contract.
I followed up with him, and I've actually reached out to him a couple of different times. He has not returned my text or my calls, so I reached out to a parent that's on the team, and she stated that Mr. Martinez was actually trying to use the facility at Tanner Street, and so, which would be free or at very low cost to them. And so I, explained that I totally understand that, but that we would appreciate, we approved for him to use the facility, and if he's not interested, just to reach out to us and let us know what's going to happen. So I don't want to make any assumptions on his part, but it sounds
Correct.
to me like
He's found another
that
facility.
he's found another facility. So,
Understood, okay.
but without, like I said, I've called and texted 4 different times, and I haven't gotten a response from him.
We were the ones who used it last year from the end of October through the very beginning of April. Our group used it last year.
Last year and then this year?
I have not used it yet this year, no sir.
None this year?
No sir.
All in 2020
No, well,
19.
through the first week of April of this year.
of this year?
So, yeah, beginning of November dates are
2020
through the first week of April 2021, we used the facility, yes sir.
Do board members have any questions of Ms. Felicity?
Do you have someone that could turn the water on and off?
We can work that out. Last year, we asked, I forget the gentleman's name, he's an older gentleman. If we needed it on, he would come sometimes and assist us.
Mr. Bashir?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he had open heart surgery in December.
We sit right there. You're not
Mr.
supposed
Hoskins.
to.
Yes.
Bo Hoskins.
But yeah, that was who it was. He come and turned it on for us a couple times, when they figured out what the issue was. Other times, we just didn't have it on. But if we could be shown where to turn it on if we needed it, I'm sure that won't be an issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I know I guess it was this year, there was a problem with a group. I don't know if it was your group or the other group. Somebody came and used the facility on a Saturday or Sunday and outside of the contract, the dates that it was contracted.
That wouldn't have been us.
And they left the air conditioning on. They turned the air conditioning on, left the air conditioning on, and the unit froze up. Then they was calling and complaining that the air conditioning wasn't on. Well, I take issue with that for the simple fact that, at the time, they was paying $5 a night to rent that gymnasium, and that wasn't even covering the light bill for the lights, to turn on the lights over there. But then using the air conditioning, and that gymnasium, there's no way to cool that to any comfortable level with the units that's in it. So if this board does approve for you to use the facility, we have to stick with the dates and the times that are in the contract. If there's something special that comes up and you know it in advance, contact City Hall and we'll try to get a meeting together. But you can't just, hey, I'm gonna use the gymnasium and leave the air conditioning on, drop it down as low as it go and walk away, because it froze up the unit. And they turned the water on and left the water running, and we've got a leak somewhere. So that water ran the entire time.
Yeah, I don't even know how to turn it on, so I would have to be shown where that was. I don't even know where it is. But that wasn't, I do know the group that used the facility. It was a part of our club, but it wasn't through our club season. Club for volleyball season runs end of October through the beginning of April. That was, they used it under the banner of our club for a rec league in Cape. It was not quote unquote club volleyball. That probably doesn't matter to y'all at all, but I wasn't a part of associated with that though, is what I'm saying. Our insurance policy that our club has was available to cover if there were any damages, but I wasn't a part of it. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
So
We have $1 million policy with our club that will cover if there are any damages or anything happens while we're using the facility, any facility, anywhere we are with our tournament or practice. We have a policy that will cover anything, any liability while we're there.
So if I'm reading this correctly, you're wanting to utilize the facility on Sundays and either Tuesdays or Thursday evening?
Whichever you all would, yes.
So just two nights a week?
Yes, sir. Last year we had it 3, but we should only need it 2 this year.
For $200 a month? And you will be responsible for turning the water on and off? And
Yes.
for all cleanup? And
We did all that already.
and you have insurance
Mhm.
coverage
And we provided a copy last year, but we'll
provided
provide a
on
new
file
copy.
for the city
Mhm.
hall? Mr. Dill, do you have any questions, comments? Ms. Gabby?
Well, my question is, since we're not 100% sure about Mr. Martinez and his dates, I mean, or, like I said,
No,
Is
because
it a-
I used it
is it a
last
com-
year.
it's
He
a
was
com-
part of my club last
Yeah.
year. He's separating out.
is it a conflict
So-
of dates? Because I don't remember off the top of
I
my
don't
head
know
what
either.
his,
I think his was September and October only.
right, but what were his
That's how we
dates though? Like Monday?
Like, he wanted like Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
But we don't have a contract from him,
Right.
so.
Okay.
No, we don't have
I just don't want to override anything that,
Yeah, but it has to be clear that we're not responsible for turning that water on or off. You know, last year it was a volunteer that, or this year, excuse me, it was strictly the gentleman volunteering his time. And we're no longer going to ask him to do that.
Oh, I understand. I completely understand. We appreciate you letting us use the facility. Like, just so you know, this is open to anyone in this region to be a part of this club. It's not just, we call it Sykeston because that's where I'm from. I mean, I've lived in Morehouse before, but we call it Sykeston. But it's open to anyone in this region. And we just appreciate you letting us use the facility because it's very hard to get a facility that we can put a volleyball net in. And we keep this club cost extremely low cost. Most clubs are $850 to $1,200. We're $250 a kid. And we also get a lot of sponsorships to even cover that. So you all allowing us to use your facility is enabling a lot of girls to be able to play the sport on a club level that wouldn't be able to. So whatever we need to do, you know, to make this work, we can make it. I can do that.
do we have, does the city hall, do we have a dumpster beside our? I was just trying to think about them because, you know, they're responsible for taking the trash.
We didn't know where to take the trash last
Yeah,
year.
is that-
The fact that we didn't know where to take it.
Is that Trey's or is that us?
The one by City Hall is ours.
Okay.
I would rather it goes there.
Okay. Because I was,
There's a camera that keeps an eye on that dumpster.
because I mean, I know you guys were providing your trash back.
But we were bagging it, but we didn't know where to take it.
Right.
So after like a month, we would put it in our own vehicle and drive it back to site.
So would that
somewhere.
be, we could let them use that way that it just, when, at the end of the night, they can just take their trash and throw it in our dumpster
Down at City Hall.
down at City Hall?
And now, I'm sure this won't, it's new people this year, so it probably won't be an issue like this year. But last year, there would be just people in the gym during our paid time. And I'd have to call people to come get them and run them out.
We had new locks, so I don't know, there's only a handful of people that have keys, so that would,
So while you were having your practices, some kids or
Yeah, a lot of
adults?
teenage
were
boys
coming?
would sit on the stage and try to watch our girls practice and
Yeah,
be
that's-
running around and be in the bleachers. And I had called people a couple times to get them ran out,
Yeah.
so.
well, I mean, you unlock the door and then maybe, and I know not everybody's gonna arrive at the same time, but, I mean, what about just locking the door back
Just lock it
behind you,
Yeah, we can.
you know, at a certain
When y'all get
time?
ready to,
But that,
you may set someone at the door until y'all,
Till we get
till
going.
you get all your.
Yeah, but you don't want to
in.
lock it, and you gotta have egress in case something happens, emergency, you gotta be able to get out of that building
It
fast.
doesn't
Yeah,
have,
It's
Push,
got a push bar, but I don't,
For a parent to
it
get in.
should be able to unlock, you should be able to lock it where it locks from the outside, but you can get the push bar and go out.
but we have a padlock on it, don't we, Jim?
yeah, that's got.
Yeah, because
it's a
the
padlock.
remote quit working at one point last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was given a key like
Yeah,
for
you
March
can't-
and
yeah, you don't
April.
wanna be locked,
No.
you can't lock them in.
But I mean, the people last year that were in there told me that they have permission from the mayor or someone on the
No,
board
no,
to be in
that's-
there.
On
And
the nights that
so
y'all.
I know things
y'all-
have changed, so I don't figure that'd be an issue. But if it is, I just need a contact number on who to get a hold of. You know, I didn't have any contact numbers last year, so.
Set that up.
And maybe we can even just post a note at the door, you know, that it's like, I mean, does that mean anything? But, just something on the glass that it's like, no public, I don't know, whatever we want to say.
And then the only lights we turn on is the bathroom and
Yeah.
the gym. We don't turn on hall lights or anything like that, trying to conserve energy. I don't know if that matters, if we're okay to turn on lights, but we don't.
Well, it's those big lights
Some
up
big
in the ceilings.
halogen,
that-
yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, concerns?
So just so that we're clear, there's not that you're gonna need air in the
No.
winter, but I'm just saying, we're not gonna have air, so.
Yeah.
That's just. I mean,
And the heat, and something we need to get clear if that, we don't know if those furnaces work over there. If they do not work,
They did this one.
their
They worked.
exercises should,
They worked, but I
Keep
mean,
them
it
warm.
would take until close to the end of practice
Yeah.
warm anyway, and I just tell them you need to run more, you know, I mean, it is,
By
you
the
just
time
need to
they
run
warm
more.
because we're not,
Get your blood pumping.
we're not gonna be investing a lot of money in
Right.
the furnace units to try to get them fixed if they don't work. I
And
don't
like,
know
I
whether
didn't know
they
there
do
was
or
an issue
don't.
with the air conditioner, because we didn't even turn it on. When it started to warm up, like beginning of April, we didn't even turn it on, so.
Well, I know Samira blew my phone up. I'll just say that about the air conditioning.
That was that
And I'm like,
routine.
hey, you know, one, I'm out of town, there's
I told her to
nothing,
put
and,
fans in there.
you know, right, right. And that's really the best solution, is if you could get a couple of, you know, like a barn fan or something like that, that's,
Get the
open up the
airflow.
doors. Yeah. I think one night Darren happened up and did they question you too, like, hey, can you come fix the, you know, so it's like, we just, yeah.
No,
Okay.
I totally understand.
Mr. Don, you have any questions?
No, sir.
All right, what does the board want to do?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody's got a copy of the contract? No more questions, concerns? If so, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we accept the contract for the, what's the name of the,
Sykes Volleyball Club.
Sykeston Volleyball Club for the October through April season.
Oh, wait, October? I thought the contract says
Oh,
November.
I'm sorry,
November? Is it
End of
October?
November. yes.
November through April? Okay.
It'll be end of November, yeah. Through the first or second week of April, probably first.
Okay.
I have a motion on the floor.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
All right.
Okay. Old business. Just like to give y'all an update on the lift station repairs that was approved. I spoke with Nick from Vanderbilt, and he stated that the pumps are coming out of Sweden or Switzerland, I can't remember which country, and said that it would probably be an additional 6 weeks before those pumps make it to the United States. I guess as y'all all know, supply chain stuff is,
Yeah. Have you seen the West Coast?
yeah, all the ports are backed up with ships and things of that nature. So that's where we're at on the lift station repairs. Also would like to inform y'all that Mr. Bo Higgins came down. He's with Heartland Environmental. He did the first inoculation on the lagoon. And also I contacted DNR. They sent over 3 representatives from the local field office. They was in attendance during that meeting, or while Mr. Bo was here doing the inoculation. So it was a good meeting all in all. We're gonna do more testing at the lagoon, just to keep a good eye on the numbers. Mr. Bo wanted to know if the discharge, or the numbers that we're getting from our testing aren't going in the right direction, that he would tweak the bacteria some to try to get us in the right direction. So that's all I have for any old business. Mr. Dill, Ms. Hoskins, Mr. Don? Okay. New business. Just like to let y'all know, and members of the public, for new business tomorrow night, in this room at 6:30, there's a CV grant meeting. CV stands for COVID. It's COVID funds, it's grant funds that are available. So Boot Hill Regional Planning Commission will be here, along with any engineers that are doing a request for qualification that's interested in getting the project. So that'll be here tomorrow night. And also tomorrow, I have a gentleman coming up from Mississippi. He's going to be in town, and we're going to go out to the lagoon. He sells his company makes an aeration system. It's a shore-based aerators. I think we may have briefly discussed that. So he'll be here sometime tomorrow to, pardon?
I'm sorry, what did you say his name was?
I did.
Oh.
I'd have to look in my phone. His name is Tony Henmer, Heimer, Heimer, and his company is C&H System. So he will be here tomorrow. He's who Mike Vabruska with Missouri Rural Water recommended. So he'll be here. He's going to, the aeration systems are built specific to the lagoons. You know, they're not just off the shelf. Yeah, off the shelf pump. It's built specific to the lagoon. So he'll be here tomorrow, and I'll be able to update with more information, paperwork, whatever it takes to do it. Another thing that I have under new business, does the board want to do we did a spring cleanup for the residents of the town. Are y'all wanting to do a fall cleanup?
Do we normally do a fall?
Not every year, but I do remember them doing them in the past. But it's up to y'all. If it's something that you want to do, if you do, it's something we need to advertise to put in the paper. You got to put it out for bid.
There's
I'm
plenty of
all
stuff.
right, because there's a lot of people miss the spring
Right.
pickup on Sunday.
Yeah, we have to do it, I mean, as soon as we get the bids, do it rather quickly, since we're already at the end of September, so.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for a fall cleanup advertising.
I'll make a motion that we advertise for bids for fall cleanup for
Having-
sanitation.
Have a motion on the floor.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Board members, you have anything else?
Well, since we're recording and some people watch this, you might want to state about the fall festival that's going on Saturday, October the 16th. Where these flyers are, so that, that people are, that way they can find it. Also, next Wednesday is the last food drive for the season, where they pass out food at the Methodist Church here. 4:30 is the last one, and then they'll take a break, and then they won't do it again. So I guess they just do it in the summertime. So free food at the Methodist Church, 4:30 to, usually like 6 o'clock.
Good deal. Stop.
I've had a few concerns about the trailer on the corner of Boone and Poplar that's burnt, like a month or two ago. It's burned down.
Yeah.
Do you know by chance when that may be cleaned up?
That's a question for Mr. Cecil. Yep. He needs to, he can contact the owner of that, and, it's the owner's responsibility to get that mess cleaned up.
Do you mind contacting Colin about that?
I do not mind.
Other thing you may contact Colin about is have him come by and look at the yurt.
The who?
The yurt. The golf ball house.
The fire department, the gun shop,
The dome?
The gun
Yeah.
shop.
Geodesic dome? What's going on over there?
Well, when we agreed to allow it to be built, we specifically told the gentleman that he would have to have 2 doors put in.
Yep, you have to have ingress and egress in case of fire.
Well, he's got 1 door in it.
That doesn't mean fire code.
Well, that's what I'm saying, There probably needs to be a conversation between Colin and this gentleman, because I really don't want him to get it finished
Done.
on the inside
Right.
and then say,
Right.
you know, you can't move into that.
Right. What was what did we, you know, the water, the sewer, there was no, he didn't lay any, you know, he just poured concrete straight.
Yeah, he didn't plumb through the concrete floor for
Well, I mean, that's,
water and sewer. Or a conduit for electric. Anything else? Okay, if not, city employees, Mr. Bobby? Ms. Brown? No? All right, at this time, I'll go to members of the public. Ma'am?
No.
Sir? Ma'am? Ma'am?
The guy that has that big blue thing, he also has that train
Mhm.
thing there that's not supposed to be there too. For storage.
Well, that's what he was gonna use. And then he was gonna call.
Can you speak up?
Yeah, I have the information for the trailer that
Well,
I can give to you, Randy, whoever.
storage, I don't.
Just bring it by and
Just
we'll
the
put it
name
on,
and number for it.
Mr. Collins'
Okay.
desk. Ma'am? Sir?
Yeah, I'm Mike Montgomery with Warner and Ship Engineers. I called a couple weeks ago. I meant to get here a little earlier, but went to the city hall and got a little turned around. So anyway, I've got some handouts for you all. I don't know if you want them now or
Yeah, come on
yeah,
up.
pass them around.
Corner sugar.
What was your name again?
Mike Montgomery.
Mike. Well, I'm Randy. Nice to meet you.
I do have a question, Joe. Is Cecil giving out money?
He has mailed letters.
Can we get a, how is he? Thank you, can we get a report, a monthly report from him on how many citations have been issued, that kind of thing?
I've seen it in a while.
Okay.
Anything, any questions you want to ask of him, email him, we can get it.
Yeah.
What's his, I don't have his email address.
What's that?
What's his email address?
I'll forward it to you.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So some of our information's on those sheets. I gave you all my card too. So our company's based out of St. Louis, and our office that I work out of is Holland Love. We do a lot of work in the community and water and wastewater. I think there's been involvement from Morehouse in the past, but I'm not entirely sure. So I'm pretty recent at Horn Shipwreck, so just started a couple weeks ago, trying to get about, introduce myself and meet people in the community, and tell people about our services we offer. So I heard you mentioning the CDBG, try saying that 100 times a day, the fund. That's one of the things we've been working on. And then also the regular CDBG, the Community Development Block Grants, and that's water, wastewater, street improvements, that sort of thing. So I think you are probably pretty familiar with those.
Yes.
Worked with in the past. So anyway, that's right up our alley. Any water, wastewater, general infrastructure improvements, which again is the streets. I think that's what I called about a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you all have a grant rolling right now.
We do. We just had the needs assessment several months back
Okay.
for streets and drainage.
Oh, great.
CDBG Streets and Drainage Grant.
Okay.
I only had one engineering firm apply.
Okay.
And then tomorrow night, we have the Boot Hill Regional Planning Commission will be here for the public hearing on that for the CDBG/CB grant. So, community center, park, recreation, things of that nature.
Okay, great. On that, I think, are you all looking more for an architect,
An architect?
Yeah, and an engineer. Or do you know, has the planning commission said anything?
No,
Okay,
they'll be here tomorrow night further
Okay.
discuss on that.
okay. Sometimes those, go either way, but just curious in case if you knew. But anyway, that's who I am, and that's the company. And again, I think you might have dealt with Horner Ship in the past. Bob Summers.
No, I don't think,
That's who you and I talked to a few years ago, was it Bob? Yeah, it was Bob.
I don't know that I've ever spoken with him. I know that Bob, I read Bob's PERs that ownership are submitted on the water distribution. And I read their PER on the wastewater side of things after the bonding for this, for combined sewage and waterworks.
Okay.
I've read through his PERs numerous times,
Okay.
familiarizing myself with things, comparing them to the competition, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, Horner Shifters was about this thick, and but it was what it was.
Yeah.
There was nothing that I, as Joe Q. Public, could do at the time.
Yeah.
But, and I don't know, I don't know if you were on the board. I think that was all settled up. So nobody that's currently sitting
Okay.
at this table tonight
Okay.
had a vote at the time.
Okay.
Or a say other than just a member of the public.
Sure. Yeah, some of those PERs are good in case you can't sleep at night. Nice and, you know, entertaining.
Well, you know, there's a lot of good information contained in them.
Yeah.
And you see what could have been and what was,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, that's a good point. And on that note, in my previous job at Strickland Engineering in Jackson, I managed water and wastewater operations. We had contract operators. So my perspective on some of the wastewater and water upgrades is a little bit different, more operator friendly. I guess is the best way to say it. Sometimes stuff looks really good on paper, but when you get in the field, it's a nightmare. So for what that's worth, and hopefully we'll be working together in the future when you guys need upgrades, we'll be here to submit our qualifications on those.
Understood?
And if you need anything in the meantime, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, I have
Any
contact
questions?
information, the board member, you gave everybody a cord.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, we appreciate you stopping by. Does the board have any questions of Mr. Montgomery?
I appreciate you stopping by, Mike.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right, with that, if there's nothing else?
Another thing, I know you didn't touch on this, but you have ordered street signs.
Oh, yeah. I sent in the list to, I believe it was 58 street signs. I'm just waiting to get a proof back of what they'll look like. Make sure that I didn't misspell a street name or.
Like Bobby ain't got nothing to do, you know?
They'll give me something to do. You know, in them days I'm slacking.
Yeah. So, the gentleman did say that it would take a couple weeks to get the proof, and then once you get the proof done, and he said, and they're approved, it doesn't take very long to get them made and shipped out. Anything else? All right, if not, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Got a motion on the floor, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.